What's going on, Real Talk family? I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Real Talk and Real Estate. I am your man, the money man. Of course, K Dub's finest in the building, the closer and the philosopher. What's up,
going
fellas?
on? What's going on?
Hey, what's the deal?
We just had a 5 session of Real Talk and Real Issues.
Sure did.
I feel like we could have went for another 45 minutes.
Probably could have.
Really.
Probably could have.
But we trying to keep it short for the segment for the peoples. You know what I'm saying?
Do they know out there that that's the live segment? That's the live Facebook segment.
That's the live Facebook segment. Yeah, you gonna check us out.
What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. It's what you get.
I knew you was gonna sing the song. It's just automatic.
That thing jamming. Hey man, you're taking me back to a 90s phase right now. You know what I'm saying? You got the jumpsuit on.
Sure
you got
do.
your chain on,
Sure
the gold
do.
chain on. You know what I'm
I was
saying?
gonna rock my Ryan DMC hat too.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You're taking me back. You're giving me old school vibes, man. I'm reminiscing over here, dog.
Old school, the jumpsuits came back, man.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
when they came back?
They've been back, dog.
Really?
Well, I guess
When
they're
last-
back.
When last time you wore a jumpsuit clothes? That look says it off.
98?
Yeah, look says it off.
He don't even wear. I don't think he wears sports attire unless he at the football field.
No, I'm at the football field. I'm chilling. You know,
but
I
outside of
go to the football.
I
It be
bet- I
hot
bet
out there.
Grim-
I bet he go
Grim-
to the grocery store in his jeans with his button down rolled up on his sleeves, don't you?
No.
Do you go to the grocery
I mean,
store?
sometimes I gotta do the look. You know, as I'm walking through. You know, and then,
Yeah, so he
and
don't go to the grocery store
and,
to slide.
and them look and them grown folks.
Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with that. I've been in the grocery store with some ashy feet and hands before.
No,
I was scared
I usually got me some cream now and put on, you know,
Yeah.
some cocoa butter.
Yeah.
So you ain't
Hey,
never,
look.
so you ain't never got caught in the grocery store with ashy feet.
No, cause I'm even if I'm wearing slides, I'm doing it old school. I got my socks right with them.
So you don't let his toes hang out. You don't let your toes hang out, Joe.
I can't.
I picture Walter, a cat with the toes hang out with the khaki shorts and a t-shirt.
What? You said khaki shorts and a t-shirt. No, I don't do the khaki shorts too much.
Hey, look, man. Say sometimes you just had that, man. You know, just screw it moment. You know what I'm saying? You Friday night, Saturday night, or whatever case may be. You thinking some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got a craving, or you thinking some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got toilet paper at the house, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You gonna run out to the store real quick. So you're saying, like, look, man, I ain't got time for all that lotion stuff, man. I'm just finna put these slides on. I'm finna just put whatever I can find,
Just
whatever land
run
next to
real
me.
quick.
And then you know what I'm saying? I'm finna just run over here real quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about these people over there at Walmart. I don't know these people.
And you become one of those Walmart pictures on social media.
One of those memes, for real.
Man, I'll be sitting there like, man, I can't be one. Look, mine be pressed just in case. You know.
No, man.
Hey, look, man, I ain't playing around with y'all. All right, so you know what I'm saying? We're going to get on with the topic for the day. We here to talk about inspection reports. Inspection reports, how they can save your buy or they can kill a deal for you because you done got the wrong inspector. Wow. It all done happened. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, you said the wrong inspector.
The wrong inspector, man. Some of these inspectors is fresh out of school, man, and they don't have a clue. But somehow, you know what I'm saying, they done went out there and they done inspected the property. They done got it all wrong. They done said it's a gas stove and it's electric. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it ain't no telling, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, people make mistakes. They're all human.
But that's where referrals come into play.
That's where referrals come into place.
That's
Because you know what I'm saying?
you
You've been
people you done worked with before, people that know what they doing.
100%. 100%. But we here to talk mainly about a situation the closer is currently dealing with. Mainly dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Okay, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it, man. We was talking about it off the mic. We're gonna talk about it on the mic. This is real life situation. Nothing hypothetical, nothing that happened in the past.
Yeah.
Tell the people about what you're dealing with right now, dealing with an inspection report.
Well, basically,
Hold on. Today is October 24th, right?
yeah.
October 24th, 2019. The closer is in the middle of the deal. We can't say the property address, we can't say the buyer and the seller, but just know that's what we are.
Yeah. So basically,
Don't forget about your extension and how you extend it. We need the whole thing.
yeah. So basically, what happened is I found a property for one of my clients, and it was a renovation. So we popped in. They liked the property. You know, fast forward, they liked the property. We put an offer in. We got the deal. And then you start your process. Once you get an executed contract, we get an inspector out there to take a look at the property. And that's the guy we was talking about that's going to go through very detailed and find you stuff. Now, something I always tell my clients and something I tell all my future clients is that, the inspection report here in Texas is going to be very detailed. They're going to give you a 45-page report regardless, okay? But that's because by law, they have to disclose everything, no matter how big or how small it is, okay? So when you're looking at a seasoned house, a house that's older than a year, isn't brand new.
Black pepper, salt, Creole seasoning, garlic
Right.
powder, onion powder, a little
Right.
cayenne, and a smidge of paprika.
He said,
Seasoned.
"Smidge of paprika." Paprika.
Seasoned.
You go always when you come across an older house, a seasoned house, you're gonna always have stuff in that house that the reality of it is it's been lived in. So there's gonna be some things that might need some service. In a nutshell, what ended up happening is this is a renovation, and when the inspector went through it, we found we found a variety of things that threw flags up for me as the representative for my client. Now, there was other stuff on the list, and we didn't pick all of the stuff, but the big things that always come to me is roof, foundation, HVAC, safety, electrical, plumbing, right? So if it falls in one of those categories, we're going to look at that a little bit harder. And we're going to say, okay, is this a handyman deal, or is this something that needs to be resolved? Okay. To make a long story short, what ended up happening is as the inspector started to go through some of the electrical stuff, we was, and I got to preface this a little bit, like Money Man, is because you have old code and you have new code. What a lot of people don't know is the inspectors are always doing their report based off of the current code. But there's a lot of things that are grandfathered in that they don't have to change, per se, because it's old code. So when you're a buyer out there, it's good to know that, because just because this is new code that says we're supposed to have a plug here doesn't mean you'll get a plug there, okay? So we fast forward, like I said, we had a variety of different things where we find out that the HVAC, or there's an area in the house that ain't cooling properly. So that would initially make me think of HVAC, okay, your air conditioning setup. And then there's a variety of electrical stuff, in regards to GFCIs, plugs not working. When they are breaking, you know what I mean? It's shutting off other rooms when it should only shut off that room. You know what I mean? Breaker box. Really really old technology where you kind of, when you go in and look at the box, it don't look like what you see in today. When you go in, it's all pretty and labeled. Like, it just looked like a bunch of wires that's kind of connected into this box. Stuff like plumbing isn't, where the sink, the thing that was happening was we was turning it to the hot and it turned the sink off. These are all things that make me say, okay, as a buyer and as me representing you, this stuff shouldn't be a problem. Like, you should walk in the door and your plugs work and your switches work and your air conditioning is cooling within parameters, right?
Especially when it's a flip.
Especially because if somebody flipped this property or renovated this property, they pretty much probably went down to the studs anyway. And even if they didn't, they still should have had somebody walk the house and do a punch list before. So they should have tested all these plugs before we even got there. The receptacles and stuff. There was a plug that had needed to be replaced. Wasn't even working. You got two plugs on a wall that ain't even working. That should just never happen. You know what I mean? When it's at the point of selling. Because the inspector's going to find it. They're going to inspect every single aspect of it, and it's going to cost you more to bring them back out after you done sealed everything up than if you just do it while you're in the midst of kind of breaking it down. So the dilemma, to fast forward a little bit, the dilemma is I'm talking back and forth with the agent. This is why it's so important that you have representation when you are a buyer or a seller, right? Is we do this every single day. So I know what's important. I know what's a safety issue. I know what needs to get done or what has to get done as a non-negotiable. And the agent on the other side is kind of saying, "Oh, that's not a big deal." Oh, and I'm saying, "No, that is a big deal. You know, this is something that my client shouldn't have to do on the first day they move in. They got to call handymen and people to come in and start messing with the plugs. That's what we paid you this price for, to walk in." And I would say to anyone, if you're a buyer and you get to that point of easement where it's kind of like you uneasy about the house, you know, you might as well just back out of the house. You know what I mean? Again, I gotta have some validation behind it. I don't have a problem if they say I'm gonna bring out a professional for each one of these items, and that professional is gonna take care of it because that's all I would do if I owned the house. Then okay, because then that creates warranty. That creates, people got to protect their work, stuff like that, and it was done right. Okay, so I think that's the dilemma that a lot of people fall into, especially when they're unrepresented or they allow they went to the open house and listing agent said, "Well, I could just represent you." And they didn't do anything in regards to have someone else represent them and the seller. You want to. It's just like an attorney. I want to have my own real estate agent represent me because God bless you, because they're going to protect your best interests throughout the whole process.
Man, I'm gonna start calling him the hammer of real estate. See that commercial?
Like the commercial.
We hammer the insurance companies. You know what I'm saying? The companies.
He gonna hammer the seller.
Yeah, he gonna hammer the seller. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get the best deal.
You know what? I don't think I'm hammering the seller. I'm just really fighting hard for my buyers. You know what I mean?
You trying to get the sellers to do what they supposed to do. Because you know what I'm saying? There's no way that you're supposed to move into a house where, one, the electrical doesn't work, and two, half the house is cooling. So you got to get window units for half your house.
Yeah, it is a brand new house.
It is a brand new house. Why you want to do that? That doesn't make sense.
And you know what's funny about what you said? That's what the agent recommended that they do. They can put some real pretty side unit. I said, really?
Are you trying to sell this house? Or you trying to make us walk away?
You know what I mean?
Oh man, that's crazy. That amazes me. The seller even said that. I mean, the seller agent even said that. That was absolutely ridiculous. That was a terrible sales strategy. She might need to go see Seller Like Sirhan or something. Watch that. It was a pretty good show, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's coming back.
Oh, that's,
it was a pretty good show.
That's my guy. I watch him on YouTube.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Okay, anyway, what you got? What you got, philosopher? You know what I'm saying? I know you ran into a situation where you had issues with the inspection report. Tell us about a story, man. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, buy or sell aside, don't matter.
So on my situation with my inspection report, we still in the middle of one of Mark's deals.
This is a current situation going on now.
It ain't bad. It ain't as bad as the closer, but what we did, we didn't quote unquote do the punch list, but what we do is we just walk through the house and say, okay, look, these are the 5 spots that I know they talk to us about: roof, AC, plumbing, and electrical. We just all know that. So on our deal, the electrical box for the AC was all jacked up. It didn't have a little cover or the box where you automatically pull it out. And it shuts the AC down. That wasn't there. And we had a showing when it came about. And he was like, "Say, man, your electrical fuse box is not adequate. It's unsafe." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Drop that in, and that was it. So when the actual inspector came about, we kind of figured, all right, look, we're going to get dinged. We just know we're going to get dinged. We're going to get dinged probably for caulking. I didn't think about the GFCIs, but I knew we had some, but we got dinged on the GFCIs just like he did. We also got dinged on grounding of the plugs. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, so how the closer feels about it is like you should do a punch list to know if these plugs work or don't work. If you stick something in and it works, that's what you're really thinking about. You're not thinking about if it's grounded or not. So on my situation, when they came in, they was concerned about grounding of the plugs, the GFCI, hot water heater, didn't have a pan under it. And so for me, I'm not going to allow a buyer or a buyer's agent to tell me, well, you need to do A, B, C, E, F, G. I'm like, no, when we start the deal, we're going to set up like this. Like, look, when the inspection report come back, we're not going to do everything. We're going to do some important things. And if there's something there, and I know for a fact we're not going to do it, we're gonna give you some money and keep going. Period. That's it. We're gonna if we see it, we come across it, and it's something that we're not gonna do what we are gonna do, then we're gonna give you some money. And I tell my sellers or my investors, I'm like, look, when you walk out this house, you're not touching nothing else. There's no more going back and forth in the house because I don't like the idea. And by us being in real estate, the closer used a statement in some of his paperwork that I can't stand. I can't stand it with a passion.
What's that?
I need a certified professional to come out and do this. With that statement, that holds you to the fire. And I am a licensed realtor, and I know what that means. And I like to lay groundwork. If I know I'm going to put a deal in on somebody's house or somebody's going to put a deal on my house, I'm going to talk to them like, look, man, when it comes down to the inspection side, I want you to understand, I'm here to close this deal. If you're here to close this deal, we're going to close this deal and we're going to make sure that it happens. We're not going to get caught up in little petty back and forth GCFI situation like the closer dealing with. That seller's agent on that side, if she would have came to the closer with, okay, look, this stuff right here is kind of petty. The only thing I see is the electrical box that I could probably do something about. But everything else, no, that's irrelevant. And if she would have been able to do that, I guarantee you, closer wouldn't feel the way he would. Like, okay, that's cool. They're gonna do this, and that's all we really need.
And I'm gonna tell you to add on to what you're saying there. I think the big thing is one, not only having a decision from the seller, because that's the other thing. Every day you just hanging up more stuff. So now I'm even getting more forceful in my list.
Yeah.
Okay. But then two, all right, if you want to give me an alternative, this is what I'm telling you needs to be done. Okay, give me the alternative.
And that's a rookie right there.
You know what I mean?
If you don't know how to go in there and do that.
Yeah, if you came back at me and she came back at me and said, look, we quoted all this out. We have, because at the end of the day, it's for the best interest of my client, right? That's my job, is to protect my client. Just like your job is to protect your seller, right?
No.
And at the end of the day, if they came in and said, we quoted it out, it's going to cost X amount of dollars to do this. Here's the 3 quotes we got. Here's the 3. So you can call these guys. What we're going to do is we're going to take a deduction of this amount, and it equaled whatever that was to fix it. Cool. That's just like fixing it. Because you're saying it's going to cost this amount. You got the quotes. You're giving me the people and you're giving me the numbers. So I'm going to go back to my buyer and I'm going to say, hey, you know what? This is what their alternative is they really, because they're out of state or whatever their reason is, they really can't be here to manage this, but they okay with you using your own people. And this is the quotes they got and how much it's going to cost. They're going to give you a credit for this amount. So we could either go that amount, or I'm still going to give it to the buyer. They still got to make the decision. We can either go that way, or we can go try and look for another house. But here's the pros and cons to getting out of this deal and going to another house. You follow what I'm saying? And then I'm a work it, communicate it that way. I think the hardest part is for like what you said is I actually would prefer that. I prefer just an answer. It's not about what you will and what you won't do for me. As the best way for me to protect my client is, as soon as you tell me what you gonna do, now I'm gonna give my professional perspective to my client based off of what you gonna do, and then I'm gonna let them make a decision based off of that. You know what I mean? I think sometimes it seems like I'm harsh, and I am, because I fight very hard for my clients, just like I would expect, the philosopher to do, and just like, the money man does. We fight very hard for our clients, and I'm not trying to be unreasonable, okay? These are things that, like I said, if it falls in one of those categories that I said earlier, that's a safety issue. That's do you really think you should have to move into a house you just paid $250,000 for, whatever it is, $220,000 for, and you got to call out the repairman to come fix your air conditioning on day one? That's not fair. Now, if it went out the week later, all right, that's a whole different story. I don't got nothing to do with that. Then that's a warranty issue.
Right.
Okay?
Oh,
but walking in knowing that it's a problem, and they ain't no, I can go find a new house or another house that,
especially at that price.
oh man, Because then this is what a lot of people don't realize too is what's my reputation then if I put you in a house that ain't acting right? How many? What's the old saying? Is one bad review they'll tell 1,000,000 people, but you only get 1 or 2 people on a good review. One or two people talk about how good you did, but 1,000,000 people will talk about how bad you did.
The idea of saying, well, when they just bought a house at that price point, and you don't want them to have to coming in calling out the professional to come and fix them. On a resale versus a new home, that expectation is very high. If you're doing a new construction, you shouldn't have to be calling a handyman out to come and do something. On a resale, yeah, because on a resale, there are just some things that a seller just not going to be able to do. If the HVAC is working fine, and you go in on your deal like the HVAC wasn't working, the idea of trying to replace a whole one or put a whole new one in is highly unlikely. But we'll give you some cash on the back end, but you still got to go in and do the same thing.
But the difference is, you bring them out to get it serviced, and it's operational. It's working going in, or at worst case scenario, at least I know coming in, this ain't working.
But that's what
it's gonna cost $4,000 to fix. You see what I'm saying? I know that coming in. So now I'm planning it. You gave me the $4,000. I done made the phone call to the service tech person so that they can come out on closing day. You see what I'm saying? Well, I ain't got to move into a hot house.
But it ain't no way that somebody wants to buy a house, pay $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 to close on a house, then turn around and have to get somebody to come out there and you pay them $1,000, $2,000 to fix the AC. That's if you ain't got to replace it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that. Now, if we're talking about a leaky faucet and you got to change the faucet, something like that, nobody's going to complain. And you move in, you like, hey, look, I got to change this faucet. That's fine. But if half your house ain't cooling, no, ain't nobody going there. Ain't nobody doing that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
So in his situation, that means you're going to walk.
Well, I'm not going to walk.
Okay, you're going to advise.
Well, he doesn't know, though. He doesn't know what the seller's going to do.
So that's the issue. The problem right now, the seller hasn't made a decision. Whether it's the agent not knowing what they doing or the seller holding it off. Because the agent, if I was that agent, let's flip roles, and if I was that agent, we would have had an answer 2 days ago. Because I'm going to say, look, seller, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller, this is the list. Here's the ones I would suggest that you do because they fall into safety or whatever it is. What is it that you would like to do? And then I'm going to listen to them. And as I'm going through, I'm going to check off, okay, these are the ones that they want to do. And then I'm going to call back the agent. I'm going to say, as a common courtesy, I'm going to call back the other agent and say, hey, I just talked to my seller. This is what my seller's willing to do. They're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 blah. These are the items they're not going to do. They feel that these are more like handyman deals and cosmetic that they can take care of when they get there. Are we still in the deal? Right? I'm gonna ask then. I'm gonna say, and more times than not, a good buyer is gonna say, "Well, let me get back to you," and they're gonna call their thing. But the fact that I got back so quick, and I got back with my reasoning why they're only gonna do that, they're more apt to be on my side to a degree and say, "You know what? You're right." You know what I mean? Or maybe in the midst of that, they might say, "You know what? But we really need to fix the ladder that's going up to the attic, right?" And then. But see, now we're back in negotiation a little bit, right? Well, now I can work that out. If I know that that's the only thing that's a deal breaker out of all the other stuff we good with, I might talk to the agent and be, hey, philosopher, check this out. The ladders cost $500. You pay $250, I'll pay $250. Let's get this deal done. Mm-hmm. And we knock out the deal, okay? We make the deal happen because then it's a win-win on both sides. You follow what I'm saying? Right. We getting paid. The homeowner's happy, or the seller's happy, and the buyer's happy. The problem, like I said, with this one is they ain't even communicating. I done asked it multiple times, well, what is your seller willing to do? What does your seller want to do? And they can't come with an answer. They ain't gave me an answer, but they got all these people at the house. They got the plumber there. They got the electrician there. They fixing stuff, which is great, but I still need something on paper. That's my protection from my client. I need something on paper that says, you gonna fix this. And if you can't get that paper to me by 4 o'clock
today,
because 5 o'clock option period ends. If you can't get that paper to me by 4 o'clock, then the paper that I already got in my thing that's terminating the deal, when I've already talked to my buyer about it and set it up and said, look, hey, we sending that over. Because I need to make sure that my buyer can get out of this. There ain't no switch your changes for me. I'm going to protect my buyer first. And all right, you might come back to, but look, you come back to me later and say, hey, we're going to fix all that stuff. You might get taxed now. I might be like, do you want to get me back on the deal? Ooh, my buyer might be asking for another $2,000 or something. You know what I'm saying? Because we might have found another house by then. You see what I'm saying? Because the closer we get to 4, the closer I get to jumping on the computer and start looking at other houses that's going to fit. Because at the end of the day, my job is to do what my client asks me to. I'm trying to get them in before Christmas.
And a lot of clients are already looking anyway. You know what I'm saying? So once they even think that the deal is going south, they back on there looking anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So if they find another property that's going to catch their eye, then, you know what I'm saying, the seller the listing agent essentially just screwed their seller.
Yeah. Look, I'm sure she already got a list of 3 or 4 houses for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they don't waste no time with that, man. Once they get off a house and they mind is set, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, look,
it's hell hot water to get back.
It's they're motivated to get inside a house. They ain't gonna waste time still going around with you, the seller, and you done turned them off. They on to the next one.
Yeah, man. I just think in these type of situations, the closer talk about I'm here to protect my buyer, I'm here to protect the seller. I'm here to protect my seller's bottom line. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, try to protect their bottom line and keep them out of as much legal liability as possible. And that's why I came up with the philosophy of like, look, we don't go back in the house once we done. Once the inspection report is done, we're not really going back in and doing any repairs. You know what I'm saying? If it's something simple and minor, you can throw some cash at, because we've already went over everything but prior to. But when it come down to the HVAC situation, those are hard, man. Those are really hard, because those are major deal breakers here in Texas, dog. Because it gets so freaking hot and the AC works so freaking hard, dog. In those situations, if I'm on the seller side and we checking out the house and I ask you the question, what your AC is like, how old is it, when last time you had it serviced, and they give me the I don't know, I'm not sure. Okay, look, you need to get that thing serviced, because we don't need a piece of paper saying it's been serviced. And that's what you got to do when you represent a seller. And then when I do an investment deal, we gonna talk about, okay, man, you gonna put a new AC in it because this thing is old. It'll be to save you a hell of a lot of headache.
But you know what you said,
a hell of a lot of headache on a long run, because we live in Texas and it gets so hot. And folks just don't stay cool.
And you run the air conditioner 90% of the year.
Yeah, so you got to have a solid system up and running up to par. So that's the biggest thing. I say, okay, well, look, either we're gonna prepare to put a new one in if we're on the investment side, or if it's just a traditional sale, okay, you need to get it serviced, man. And a servicing of an AC and nowadays costs between $500 to $1,000. $500 to check and to just do some little, what they call the cleanups on it, new capacitor, straighten out all your wires, and do some other little where they clean off the pipes outside and stuff like that.
Like this.
Clean the vents and the outside vents to make sure it get the airflow right.
They need to go to Groupon.
Look, well, think about this.
They need to go to Groupon.
You're so crazy. You're so crazy.
And then get some pounds of put some on it, because
think about what you said there. Because I done had this happen. They done bought a house, and the inspector came through, and everything was working fine. And then, like 2 weeks later, they move in. 2 weeks later, the whole AC go out.
It's done.
Right?
And that happens, though.
That happens.
Nobody can predict that.
Nobody can predict that. But as a protection for my buyers, that's why I got to make sure they got to have a warranty.
Yeah.
Well, because now warranty gonna come out and they gonna do what they'll either service it or replace it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But see, these are the little things that I talk about that's so important, and that the philosopher talk about that's so important that people don't get. There's so many variables in I know we talk about how easy a real estate transaction is. We make it sound, but there's so many variables that go on and off with
that you just can't. And the hardest ones are the ones that you think about and that you know about, but then they still blindside you because you don't think that's the one thing that can cause a problem. You know what I'm saying? We on the mindset, okay, well, AC probably be the issue, but they come back and say the hot water heater has a leak and is rotting on the backside. You like, oh God, I can't even see the backside of the hot water heater. And you like, dang, we didn't prepare for that. And hot water heater nowadays is like $600, and plus to put a new one in, you're looking at $1,000 job.
Yeah.
And even investment or traditional seller, you can't get around that.
Yeah.
You can't. So you got to come off the cash to fix it and
look, you don't let the hot water heater be up in the attic.
Ooh.
Where they got to go up.
That's the
old days, they got to go up in the attic to go get it.
Drain it and pull that rascal down and pull a new one up.
Yeah.
Don't let it be two either. Hey, the biggest one. If you got two. Well, don't worry about that. We'll just use that one. Hey, you got two. Don't worry about just use one. You all right? I've done it. Hey, does one of them work? Yeah, one of them work. Okay, here we're gonna do. As long as that one work, we'll give him $700 for the second.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, unless you're dealing with the closer. Hell no. I need at least 3.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do in that scenario is I'm gonna again, I got a value for my client. So I'm gonna look and say, okay, well, water heaters, I'm gonna go look, see how much they normally cost. On average, they cost this.
Yeah.
And if it's close, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't gonna trip because really they ain't buy the house for the water heater. They bought the house for everything else, right?
Right.
This just might be one of those minor things, and then plus it might fall under the warranty. So, you know.
But the thing about it, if you have two,
I know.
Now if you got two and one is working, one is not, say, okay, look, we'll give you $700 for that second one. You call it a day. That's a brand new water heater. All you gotta do is go get it, put it in, and take it out.
Get it and put it in. Because sometimes, in all reality, it's a bigger hassle. And I've done this, and I've said this to clients and I'm on the buyer side, where if something I know is a bigger hassle to get done from the seller's perspective, and it just would make more sense to come in with your own thing, your own people, give me the money. You know what I mean? Give me the money instead, and that way you can do this the way you want to. You know what I mean?
You might not even be concerned about a new hot water heater.
All right, y'all. I got to sneak out, y'all. You know, I got that meeting, y'all.
Hey, we getting ready to wrap this. We getting ready to wrap this thing up anyway. Real talk takeaway.
Look through you off real quick.
Yeah, give me up. Real talk takeaway. Close. What you got?
Representation is the most important aspect of any real estate transaction. Make sure that you have somebody that's fighting for what your needs and wants are, and someone that's experienced and knows what they're talking about.
Ooh, that's a whole.
And
them little one-liners.
Well, and
rookies out there, man.
Well, and this is what I mean. If you got a rookie, I don't have a problem with you having a rookie, as long as that rookie is willing to go and get assistance from someone else. If they got questions, if they don't have an answer, as long as they're the type of rookie that's gonna go get the answer, I'm cool with that. The problem I have with rookies is ones that think they know, and they don't really know the game, and so then now they make mistakes, and then overall that hurts all the real estate people because now you've created you create a bad experience, and they're gonna say, well, I had a real estate agent now. You know, all this stuff went wrong with my house. That's on them. You know what I mean?
Right. At the end of the day, you definitely don't want to go in there without a real estate agent. You need somebody that's representing you. Don't go in there thinking that you're going to get a deal. Go and talk to a listing agent thinking that they're going to be representing you or doing what's in your best interest. That's when you end up going. That's just like getting in a car wreck trying to go fight the insurance company yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't even have a clue.
Not a one.
What you got, philosopher?
Just when it comes down to these situations with the inspection report, guys, buyer or seller, prepare yourself. Agents, prepare your clients. You know what I'm saying? Like the close say, if you're not aware of how the inspection report goes, man, call some inspectors and ask questions. Ask them to send you a dummy report. Get used to looking at them and understanding how to read it. When I know I first started and I realized what the inspection report was, I actually give me one. Let me read somebody's, and I read the whole 45 pages so I can understand what's what and how they do it, and then you get a better understanding of what's really important, what's not. But you also got to have that line of communication with your seller or buyer, saying, well, look, understand you're gonna see a world of things that are gonna throw the whole kitchen sink at you. But there are some primary things that we do have to address, and that's something that we don't. That's something is just what it is they're there to find every problem, and you just got to accept, okay, the plug doesn't work, needs to be grounded. Cool. You want to get it grounded? Cool. Not, you still get power, you just fix it later. Just have understanding how to set expectations for your buyers and your sellers.
Set the expectations. The other thing I want to add to is that I always think it's a great idea, one, to actually be at the inspection or at the end of the inspection as the inspector is completing, so that you can fully understand what's going on. And the other thing is this, is that, you know what I'm saying, we all have teams. Everybody's a specialist in their field. You don't have to be a specialist in all fields. So if you don't necessarily understand something ends up on the inspection report, please call out a specialist to actually give you their educated opinion on it, or feel free to call out multiple specialists to give you their educated opinion on it, because then that way you can determine what you want to do, and then you can make a decision better. The CEO does not run a company solely by himself. He is created from a team of people that have certain specific jobs to do. They go out and do that job. They report back to the CEO, and then he makes a decision from there. He does not do it all. So don't feel like you have to go to Google every time and do everything yourself. Nothing wrong with going to Google, getting information off the internet, but definitely get a specialist out there, because every situation is different. Outside of that, appreciate y'all for checking in, for tuning in. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, and also hit the subscribe button on this if you're on YouTube. And then if you're on Facebook, make sure you like our Facebook page. Hit us up if you got any topics or anything like that you want us to talk about. Outside of that, we'll talk to y'all later. All right, peace.